As my past life as a corporate efficiency expert, I've mastered the art of stress-free travel. I've learned the secrets to making travel smooth and hassle-free. And today I'm sharing the top 10 travel mistakes you need to avoid. Let's dive in. Mistake 1. Not checking your passport and visa requirements. Some countries require your passport to have 6 months to expiration to enter or even a visa. Always check ahead. Many countries are visa-free or visa-exempt, which means you can enter freely for a certain amount of time. But some countries have an e-visa or visa on arrival, which requires some planning ahead. Atlys is a very convenient app to check visa requirements and apply for visa or e-visas for certain countries. I've used it for Vietnam and Indonesia. It's so easy, but they do add on a service fee. Some countries have a visa or e-visa applications on their government website. Vietnam now is very easy, and you could save the Atlys service charge. Other countries will have more difficult visa applications, so make sure to do your research while planning your trip. Mistake 2. Packing too much. Are you bringing almost everything you own with you on your 1-week European vacation? You don't need a 26-inch roller, a 20-inch roller, and a backpack every time you leave your city. Years ago, I was on a train from Paris to London, struggling to get my 26-inch luggage down the aisle. It was my wake-up call that this was way too much stuff I'm carrying on this trip, not to mention wheeling that thing on cobblestone roads or carrying it up long flights of stairs. That began my minimalist travel journey. Each trip I brought less and less with me. I learned about quick-dry clothing like merino wool, allowing you to wash and hang dry quickly, packing much less. I also changed to more compact gear, from a big DSLR camera to smaller and smaller cameras as technology advanced. Years and years later, I'm traveling with an 18-liter backpack only. It's quite extreme, but it is so efficient. I've gotten it down to 7 kilograms or 15 pounds, light and small enough for most airlines to qualify as a free personal items on most planes. 90% of the flights I can check in online, skip the check-in desk, and head right through immigration and security. Check out my minimalist packing playlist to see how little I travel with. Mistake 3. Not using airline loyalty programs. Higher status with airlines can be very beneficial when booking flights. Using the same airline for a lot of your flights or using their credit card to earn points and status can give you free flights, upgraded seats, free lounge access, and many other perks. I used to have high status with Delta years ago, but switched to United. It's better for flying between the US and Asia for me. Many times I've had a full row to myself in premium seats, while paying the lowest fare available. That's great for a 12-hour flight between LA and Tokyo. I've been upgraded to business or first on a few flights. It's such a nice treat, making flying much more relaxing than being packed into the back of economy. Check my video on how I travel the world for free for more details. Mistake 4. Arriving too late or too early at the airport. Too late and you might miss your flight. Too early and you're stuck waiting for hours. Usually domestic flights they recommend to arrive 2 hours early, international flights 3 hours. But some airports won't let you check in or go through security until an hour or two before your flight. I've arrived at an international flight 3 hours early, but the airline was so small, no other flights were running before my flight, so there weren't even any employees at the desk until 2 hours before takeoff. On the other hand, arriving too late can be a disaster. Traffic, long lines for immigration or security, or airport system issues can cause you to miss your flight. Mistake 5. Airport security. Security checkpoints can be a nightmare if you're not prepared. Don't be the one causing delays. Usually you can see who the quick travelers are and who will be holding up the line. I'm one of the most efficient travelers when it comes to security. No belt, or if you need a belt, get one that's non-metallic so you could keep it on. Put your watch, wallet, keys, coins, anything else in your pockets into your bag. Wear shoes that can slip off easily, no big boots. Take out your laptop, tablets, phones, battery packs, and put them in a bin. Make sure to drink everything in your water bottle or dump it before getting to security. Learn how to do this all quickly and pack it back up after passing through the line. Avoiding secondary security check is the goal here. Just get through quickly and get to the lounge. Mistake 6. Not using airport lounges. Grabbing a free meal and drink and resting in a comfortable chair away from the noisy gates makes a huge difference in my travel days. Get one of the credit cards that offers Priority Pass for free. I have the Chase Sapphire Reserve. It's not cheap at over $600 per year, but comes with tons of travel perks and rebates to make it worth the cost. I don't mind getting to the airport hours before my flight if I could spend time in a lounge. It's nice to make sure you're there early, not worrying about missing your flight if there's any delays. Some lounges are better than others, but usually outside of the US you can have a nice free meal and drinks before your flight. Mistake 7. Not choosing the right airplane seat. A bad seat can make a long flight feel even longer. Do you know which seat's the best for you? A window seat's best for sleeping. Aisle seat best for frequent bathroom trips. Front row or exit row has extra leg room, but will cost more. Avoid seats near bathrooms unless you love constant foot traffic and possible smells. My biggest tip is when you're flying to a different country, sit as close to the front of the plane as possible to be one of the first in line at immigration. If yours is the only plane landing at the time, you could be through immigration in minutes. The further back you are in the plane, the longer it takes to deboard. The immigration line will keep growing and growing. If there's several planes landing at the same time, it could take hours. In AirAsia especially, I always take the second row aisle seat. One last tip. On a long flight, book one of the last few rows if no one is sitting there yet. If it's not a full flight, you have better odds on having an empty seat or two next to you. This worked on my flights from Bangkok to Tokyo. I had 3 seats open to stretch out and sleep. Monitor the seating chart hours before takeoff and change seats if needed. Good luck! Mistake 8. Using airport currency exchanges. Most of the time you won't get a good exchange rate at the airport when you land in a new country. The best rates are usually withdrawing from a legitimate large bank's ATM. One problem you may face is the ATM fees, from the ATM's bank and your bank. Also, never accept the suggested exchange rate from the ATM. They're ripping you off. I use the Charles Schwab checking account, which reimburses their ATM fees and gives you the best exchange rate. If you can't open a Charles Schwab checking account, just look for a bank that'll reimburse your ATM fees and not charge any foreign transaction fees. If you really need to change your currency for foreign currency, possibly in town would have higher rates. Also, in some countries, they give you a higher rate for $100 bills over smaller denominations. Be careful that your bills are newer, clean, with no writing on them, or they possibly will be rejected. Mistake 9. Not knowing the best way to get from the airport to your hotel. Do your research on how you're going to go to your hotel when you land. Taxi out front is probably the most expensive and possibly the most dangerous, depending on the country. Public transportation will be the cheapest, but not the fastest. Usually the best options are the ride-sharing apps, if they're allowed to pick up at the airport, or pre-arranging a private car and driver from a reputable company. I've had some crazy adventures just winging it in some countries. Now I'm much more prepared. It's so much better. Mistake 10. Not organizing your travel plans. Many people just book hotels, flights, tours, etc., and don't keep everything in one place. I've been using Tripit, the free version, for 15 years. You simply forward your travel plan email confirmations to Tripit, and it organizes all your plans in one place. This way you have everything in one easy-to-use app on your phone, iPad, or computer. Tripit also creates travel reports with fun-to-know details. I've traveled almost 1 million miles in the past 15 years, spanning 63 countries and 400 cities. There you have it. Avoid these travel mistakes and you'll have a much smoother flight day. Have you ever made one of these mistakes? Let me know in the comments.